consumers around the world are demanding for their food to be produced in a sustainable manner, grown with fewer chemical inputs and traceable, ethical and transparent inputs, combined with the pressure to feed more mouths. This is going to be a big ask for all our farmers and growers to deliver on whilst remaining profitable. Now, biostimulants are a fast-growing solution that addresses both economic and environmental concerns whilst producing top-quality, high-value products. AgriSea New Zealand is an award-winning family-owned seaweed company at the forefront of this biostimulant industry in New Zealand. They are the single biggest investor in research for the sector and have been helping farmers and growers for over 22 years. Thanks to some funding with Callaghan Innovation, AgriSea's dairy farm biological nutrition solutions have been developed alongside Lincoln University research. And early indications from this research suggest that dairy cows being treated with AgriSea animal nutrition have improved rumen fermentation, body condition score, and increased animal welfare. In this episode of Farm Source's Seasonal Focus, we're joined in studio by Professor Pablo Gregorini, who has been a part of this research at Lincoln University. Pablo, thank you so much for the work that you've put in and your team at the Pastoral Production Lab at Lincoln. Can you start by telling us what of the key findings that dairy farmers around New Zealand should get most excited about when it comes to seaweed?
Oh, for sure. Thank you for having me, Sarah. That's a pleasure. And, thank you to Callaghan and thank you to AgriSea to support our Pastoral Livestock Production Lab. Before I go there, I'd like to say that this work was conducted by the former student of mine, Dr. Matt Beck, that is a USDA employee now and keeps working with seaweed in the States. So I have to acknowledge and say that without Matt, this wouldn't have been possible. So, and everything that we are going to say, what I'm going to say, and Matt would have said, and I asked Matt before, is published in international scientific journals. Yeah. So the main finding is like the benefit of incorporating seaweed and seaweed plus terrestrial plants that we know that they have bioactives on the performance of the animal. And we talk about performance in terms of welfare, in terms of rumen fermentation, and also in terms of environmental impact. So what we found with the non-lactating dairy cows is that once we feed the AgriSea health tonic versus placebo and versus AgriSea health tonic, we call it plus in our scientific research, cows receiving these two products, increased body condition score as compared to a reduction when we fed the placebo, being the AgriSea plus, we call it, better the AgriSea health tonic. But again, both were significantly different in terms of body condition score change during non-lactating period. When we also, dose those cows with these two seaweed mixes, you name it, we increased the rumen fermentation in of those cows, which helped a little bit in why they had a gain in body condition score. Most importantly, I would say, is that we had found that at calving time, when any female mammal, is exposed to the main stress in life, if you like, the cows that were receiving these two seaweed mixes, had much less oxidative and physiological stress. And being the best, the AgriSea Plus. And again, I don't know what is going to be the commercial product of this, but I leave it up to AgriSea. So those cows in the next, during lactation, have a lower incidence of mastitis and have less metabolic problems as well. When they start lactating, we increase the dose a little bit because they were eating more as compared to the non-lactating period, and we find out that those cows receiving these seaweed mixes had a reduction in nitrogen excretion by around 20%.
So a lot of win-wins, but also the big question is, how much did you test with? How much will you need to dose? Is it a lot to get that result?
Well, that's one of the things that we were quite thankful with the support of Agri-C and Callahan to act like a devil advocate and to act like a skeptic at the beginning, so preserving our, academic and research freedom to provide scientific information to this company and to Callahan. So when Agri-C came to us, they said, okay, well, we are dosing this amount. And we thought, and to be honest with you, Sarah, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's impossible. It was 5 milliliters per day per cow. Imagine that the rumen of a cow ranged between 80 and 100 liters, right? So 5 milliliters per day, you would say nothing happened. So we ran a couple of trials in vitro to test different doses. And we found out in vitro that they were right. So the 5 milliliters, as compared to all the way up to 100 milliliters, it was the dose that has the major effect. So there wasn't any need to increase the dose, right? So 5 milliliters. And then we checked that in real rumens, in real animals, and we found the same thing. So, and the results that I just commented about oxidative and physiological stress were obtained with that 5 milliliters dose per cow per day.
It's absolutely fantastic in the early findings from Pablo Gregorini's Pastoral Production Lab at Lincoln University, supporting the Agri-C health tonics for your dairy cows. All of those functions that Pablo said will result in positive impact in your herd. Coming soon to Farm Source stores near you is this new Health Tonic Plus. However, in the meantime, check out all of the amazing innovation in seaweed at Agri-C's website. And talk to your TSR at Farm Source for more information on how to include Agri-C's health tonics to your herd.